Hey there, Hellhazers. This is your admin Susan with a video review of Supernatural Season 8 so far. First, let me say hello to my fellow admins. Hi, guys. It's nice to be seen by you. Figured I would actually try my first attempt, at a review, basically reviewing the current season that's airing on TV so far. So just to give you guys a warning, if you haven't actually seen any of Season 8 yet, I would strongly suggest turning this video off and not watching it. I'm going to actually be talking about some spoilers and major plot points, so don't want to ruin anything for everyone, so I'm giving you a heads up. If you haven't seen Season 8, turn me off right now. So, last we leave off, Cass and Dean get stuck in purgatory after, they finally get to kill Dick Roman. Kevin, our, new prophet, is kidnapped by Crowley and his men, basically leaving Sam completely and utterly alone for an entire year. So, we begin Season 8. Dean obviously gets out of purgatory. We don't really have a, complete explanation as to why, except that Benny, a vampire who was also trapped in purgatory and was helping Dean, annihilate Leviathan and, various and sundry other, monsters and demons in order to, make it so that him and Cass could survive, only for Cass to basically just kind of disappear, as it were, we see that, Dean and Benny obviously form some kind of bond, which is, why Dean takes such a big chance bringing Benny out of purgatory. And, we've kind of seen, the relationship between, like Sam and Ruby, for example. Dean completely objected to it. It was, she's a demon, Sam, you go for the holy water, you don't chat. Same concept with, Dean and Benny. When Sam finds out about Benny and when they meet, Sam's, initial gut reaction is to off Benny. But Benny's actually proven to be not entirely untrustworthy, at least so far, but, that could, for all intents and purposes, that could change. But he obviously earned Dean's trust, and as we know from, the past 8 years, that is not something that's easily earned. So, that tells us quite a bit. Sam takes an entire year off from hunting, doesn't even bother looking for, the prophet Kevin. He just, gives up and becomes a handyman and gets involved with, Amelia, as we see in flashbacks. So obviously Sam, maintains some sort of relationship, which is nice because you don't really get to see the Winchester boys actively pursue relationships as much. I mean, at least, not in the, male-female sense anyway. Like they, have friends and, people that they care about, but never like, a relationship. I mean, we, obviously saw that with Ben and Lisa with Dean. And, that was great how it was. And, Dean, felt like he, was basically dragging them into everything. And he was, but he wasn't intentionally doing it. That was kind of the way that it works with them. So, being involved in a hunter's life, that's basically the price that you pay. So yeah, we, see Sam obviously develop this relationship with Amelia, and we only see it in flashbacks, so we don't know the entire extent of it. I mean, we don't even know how or why Sam left Amelia, but obviously there was something that caused him to just up and leave her. I mean, it hasn't been explained yet, so it's not something that we're entirely, completely informed on yet, but we'll obviously get there at some point, I would hope. It's nice to see Garth back, once again helping out the Winchester boys, basically trying to be, the new Bobby. May he rest. We miss him. We love him. But, it was Bobby, and, I wouldn't necessarily say that Dean was right in saying that, Garth wasn't Bobby, but Garth is doing what he can to, fill some pretty big shoes, and, at least he's giving it a shot, which is, more than anybody else can say. And, it's really good to, see Garth back. He's funny, he's a good hunter. He's a little off, but he's still great, and DJ Qualls is actually a really good actor, so he's fitting for the role. So it's wonderful to see Garth back. We do actually, believe it or not, getting Cass back. Yay! If you're a huge Cass fan, yay! Getting Cass back. Obviously, we see that Dean didn't intentionally leave Cass in purgatory. That Cass let Dean go without him. And I personally think that speaks largely about Dean's relationship with Cass, and the fact that Cass ultimately sacrificed himself to get Dean, well, and technically Benny, out of purgatory, and it wasn't necessarily a bad thing. Sorry, I gotta rub my eye for a sec. Anyways, so it was good to see that, Cass was making sacrifices, and, Cass has always been good in that sense, and it's definitely one thing I actually really like about the character. I also, like Misha Collins, we've seen him in other stuff, Charmed, Nip Tuck. He's hilarious in Nip Tuck, though. Every time I watch that particular episode with him, it's really hard to just not start laughing hysterically. Anyways, off topic. It's this season so far is actually pretty interesting. I'm enjoying it. Other things, with the Kevin the Prophet, with him, kind of doing the, disappearing act and getting away from Crowley, which was, pretty big deal. It's actually, fairly impressive. Kevin just, basically kind of falls into all of this. He loses his girlfriend, and then they try to go after his mom, and his mom's pretty tough old lady. She's pretty much a badass. Not, she's obviously, in the last episode that we saw, she didn't exactly make too much of a sound judgment when it came to getting involved with a witch, but Dean has, made his opinion about witches perfectly clear in the past. They're, horrible, and they're always, spewing their bodily fluids everywhere, as he's, put it so delicately. So yeah, Kevin and his mom, kind of being a team, I think is actually, been really good. And then, we obviously see Crowley get him back and kind of get a further explanation on how, to close the gates of hell. And then we introduce the Archangel, I believe it was Metatron or Megatron. Obviously not Megatron, because that would be transferring into Transformers territory, which would make absolutely no sense. So I think it's Metatron. I'm kind of curious as to how exactly, they thought to use the name Metatron, but that's another thing altogether. That has no real bearing on any of this. I think it would be interesting to see them actually, get the, gates of hell closed forever, and, who knows, maybe see our, our beloved boys, find, happiness, the normal apple pie life, as they say, white picket fences and, wives and kids and, all of that. It would be, honestly, it would be awesome to see that for Sam and Dean, and, even Garth too. And, Garth, I think, actually, mentioned being in a relationship at one point. I think it was last season that he had actually brought that up. And I think that that's actually really cool. It seems like he's actually trying, but Sam and Dean obviously have, a bit more of a burden when it comes to being hunters than most people do. But yeah, it's great to see a lot of, return actors. Obviously, Misha Collins coming back and, being Cass, that's obviously great to see. And we've got the upcoming episode where Cass decides he wants to be a hunter. Not entirely sure how I feel about that yet. Just kind of it's a wait and see kind of thing. I'm a Dean girl, well, Dean woman, obviously. I named my son after, Dean Winchester, so yeah. Anyways, it's going to be interesting to see Cass try and be a hunter, and it looks like this next episode is actually going to focus more on, being funny, which I'm actually really looking forward to, because I mean, we have a lot of humor in Supernatural, but it's pretty serious at the same time. So, it's nice to kind of take a little bit of a break and, have, some humor where, you actually have a chance to spend a whole episode where you're just laughing nonstop. And when Richard Sprite Jr. was, the trickster / Gabriel, he was hilarious. I mean, I'd spent every time I watch the episode Changing Channels to this day, I still laugh every time I, see the scene for Herpexia, the herpes medication and stuff like that. He was, phenomenal in Supernatural, and it was a shame that we lost Gabriel the trickster. It was very sad. It was horrible, but he was definitely funny, and it would be awesome to see him back. Same thing with Sebastian Roche as Balthazar. God, just another fantastic actor. Absolutely hilarious. My heart will go on. Still, actually, I'll get a stomachache from laughing so hard. Wonderful actors. Great cast and crew for Supernatural, and I'm honestly, I'm really enjoying season 8. I think the rest of it's going to be awesome, and Jim Michaels has promised us that we're going to need a little bit of recovery in regards to the next 3 episodes. So as soon as I read that he posted that on Twitter, I was like, oh dear God, what are we getting ourselves into? I panicked a little bit, but also, being a new mommy and all, kind of, prone to panic a little bit, but I panicked as a fan and went, oh God, okay, don't tell me something like that. I mean, if you're telling me that, I'm going to watch this episode on Wednesday night and possibly need to, call in sick Thursday morning, or, call off school or cancel my plans to basically lay in bed all day because I just need to recover, that as a fan speaks to me and tells me, pardon my language, but oh shit. That's it's pretty good warning. And I've noticed there are some entertainment magazines and blogs that, there's one for, I believe, Entertainment Online, and they do daily spoiler chat. They rarely, if ever, post any spoilers about Supernatural. I really don't know how the cast and crew do it. I mean, they're pretty awesome at keeping things very, very, very tight-lipped, and it's really impressive actually, because you never know what to expect. I did read something about an upcoming episode where I believe the boys actually go to Ohio, and there's something involving cowboy hats and a cowgirl. It's possible spoiler, I apologize. That doesn't really tell me a whole lot. All it said was, we're possibly going to see the boys in Ohio rocking cowboy hats with some cowgirl. I'm like, okay, well, all right, so we're going to go back and visit Frontierland again. Yay! Except obviously in real time instead of the past. So we'll see how that pans out. I mean, you guys can look for information about that. I read it on, like I said, a column from Spoiler Chat from Entertainment E! Online. So I don't remember how far back that was. I think it was about a week or so ago. It might even be more. If you backtrack it on Twitter, good luck. It's going to take you a little bit to actually find it, because it was a while ago. But I don't know, what the bearing is on that. It's just something that I heard, so it's a possibility, but I don't know for certain. Obviously, we'll see in the next few episodes. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. But yeah, so far I'm enjoying season 8. I hope that everybody else is, assuming that you're watching it if you live in, a part of the country where,